Hey everyone, it's Liz again. Welcome back to my Flosstube channel, or welcome if you're here for the first time. It's been a couple weeks since I've done any posting. It's just been crazy. I'm sure a lot of you feel the same with Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up. There's just so much going on. So I haven't been doing as much stitching as I would like to. But I do have a few things to show you, so I thought I'd go ahead and get that done so that it's not too long because I think my next video probably won't be for a little bit. All right, so to start off, I have a finish. I did it. I finished her Royal Holiday in all her glory with all of the beads. There's some real special stuff in here. I'm gonna get it as close as I can so you can see. So in that white, there's actually a fuzzy kind of thread used, a special thread, and it doesn't show up really well, but it does make it slightly fuzzy. And then of course there's just a ton of beads, beads everywhere in this beautiful lady. So I'm just so proud. I'm so happy to be done. She's gorgeous. Um, so that was actually what I did for my second Whip Go project. I was supposed to do an HAED for November, and I decided I wanted to get this finished instead. And I feel like I made the right choice. This is my first large, really large project finish of the year. I have another one that I don't really count just because it was waiting for backstitching for forever. But you know, I really worked on this and got her finished this year. So just so happy. These are so much work. I'm sure a lot of you have done Mirabilias before. So this is Royal Holiday by Mirabilia. It's an 18 count Ada by Picture This Plus. It is a beautiful green, and I'm sorry, but I don't remember the one that I used, but it's always shows up a little grayer or a little bluer. On camera than it actually is. It's actually a very nice Christmassy kind of green, but I do not recall the name of it. So that is going to get framed. I also have a Mirabilia Mermaid that I'm going to frame that is about the same size. So what I want to do is get them framed the same so that I can swap the picture out. So I'll hang, you know, one during the winter months and the other during the summer months. So um, maybe one day I'll get some more that I can swap with those two. But anyways, finally finished. Oh my gosh. So happy to have that done before Christmas. So moving on, my other whip go was actually for a needlepoint project. And so I worked on my trusty friend Anne Boleyn here. Just love her. So you can kind of see I filled in her body here and then started on her neckline because I wanted to make sure that that was done correctly. Because sometimes if you do the big space first, you lose definition on the small space. So wanted to do that so I could start filling in her skin. And you can see her face is now completely done. So moving along on her, um, actually quite quickly since I bought her just this past September. So, other than that, December whip go, uh, I haven't done anything yet. It is December 5th today, and I haven't done anything. So it is what it is. I have just been scattered, and that's okay. But I have worked on some other projects. So let's go with the cross stitch first. One thing that I've been working on is this Anne Boleyn. Look, another Anne Boleyn. Cross stitch project. This is by Sheena Rogers Designs. If you love the Tudors or just love any of the kings and queens, check her out. She has a ton of different things. This is a little small one. Uh, this is one of those projects I actually keep by my desk and sometimes work on when meetings get long and boring. But this is just a kit. It's on, I think it's 14 count Ada. Yeah, 14 count Ada in white. all DMC floss, but I'm just using what came in the kit. So nothing too exciting there. Another one that I was working on is my Curiosity, which I don't call that. That's what it's called, just by Busilla. This is a very old, almost as old as I am. Not even close to as old as I am. 1996 Busilla chart. So this was a kit that I purchased back in 1996. And I have restarted it. So I am not using what came in the kit. It was on 14 count Ada. I am redoing it on 18 count. And kind of a cream color Ada, which I think looks better than the white. Well, it was cream. Well, it looks like cream now. But I just think this looks so much better. The definition is better. There's something about 18 count. For me, that size just works better for me. I am using all the kit threads. I've shown this before, but I'll show it again. This is the original from 1996. I remember working on this in my dorm room at college. It just doesn't look as nice. There's not the coverage isn't as good. It looks more pixelated. So this was sitting for a long time. You can see that I used to use a round hoop because there's still marks on this fabric. There's a little bit of staining, but I've kept it. And I restarted it with the same kit threads because even though I was half done, there's a ton of thread here. These old kits always came with too much thread. So working along on that. It's really trippy though, because certain pieces, as I'm stitching, I actually remember stitching it the first time all those years ago. So up next, Aurora Cabin. Some of you will be familiar with this one. This was fairly popular for a while. By the way, I have it in this bag. It does not want to come out nicely without spilling everything everywhere. This is Aurora Cabin. This is a pretty recent Dimensions kit. I am using the stuff in the kit. And this came with a 16 count. They call it gray. This is not gray. This is blue. So 16 count gray Ada is what they call it. Absolutely not gray. This is where I've gotten to. Using all of the kit threads, except that this kit was missing an entire color. And their answer to me was, here's the DMC, go get it yourself. So that might be why I'm having a hard time working on this one, because I'm annoyed still. But I've been working on this, all of this, which is mostly 5 and 6 strands of thread, which is a real pain in the butt to pull through this fabric, this 16 count fabric. So that might be why, another reason why I haven't been doing a lot on this. One of my whip call calls for December is to work on something by Dimensions. I kind of started on this thinking this would be the one, and then I got annoyed with it. So I might pull it back out and work a few more days on it, or I might do something else. I've made it all the way to whip go, and it's just in November that I started getting kind of bored with it. It's me. I'm annoying. I know. Next up is my stained glass mermaid. I know I've shown a picture of her before. So I really, I don't know what happened, but I just started working on it and started getting a ton done. And it's this part up here. I've basically followed a color from here and just kind of started working it up to the top because I like to work top down, but I started this in the middle because the pattern was confusing the way it was done, and I did not have Pattern Keeper when I started it. So this one was done for people who stitch from the bottom up. So page 1 was the bottom left corner, and then after the bottom pages was the middle pages, and then the top pages. And my brain just took a look at that and went, no, I have no clue what's going on here. So I started in the middle. But now I've worked my way up. I got a bunch of this filled in actually last night. That's why this is still on the hoop. This is another Picture This Plus. I just love their colors. And I cannot remember the name of it, but they say that it is roughly the color 317, which is not quite right, but Um, it's still a nice gray. It's a bluer gray, I think, than when I think of 317. So I've been getting some work done on that one. Not part of any challenge or anything. And then one other that I've been working on. It's so weird that I go to the big projects when I'm hassled and just need to relax. Been working on my pirates piece and I filled in all of that blue above his head. I actually posted this on Instagram because I had taken a big space of this and kind of I had over to this edge had marked out the space that I was going to fill in so that I could just fill it in. And I even said to my husband, "Oh, I'm just going to fill this in. It'll be so fast." Then I did the math. So the space that I had done was 95 stitches across and 30 something stitches tall. So it took me 3 days to fill that bit in. And I was laughing the whole time because, yeah, I was just like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to fill this in. 3,000 something stitches later, yes, I did fill it in, but not quite as fast as I had told myself it would be. I think we always do that. We always think that looks small. It'll be fine. So, yeah, still working on his face. My husband said that it's kind of scary how big this piece of fabric is. I agreed with him. I can't even show you the bottom if I hold it all the way up. This is bigger than it needs to be. And I just thought, why bother cutting it? I'm not going to use anything that I cut off of this. So we'll just wait until it's done and then we can trim it before framing if we need to. But yeah, it is a huge piece. But somehow calming and relaxing, and that's really weird. But that's true. So those are my cross stitch that I've worked on lately. As you can see, not a ton done, but a little. I also worked a little bit on some other needlepoint projects. So this one is a Dimensions called Cottage Cove. I think this one's really pretty. There's something about these colors that I just really love. Although this one was kind of weird, so you can't see it anymore because I've finally gotten it covered, but the house colors underneath were wild colors that have nothing to do with what colors they actually are. And that really made this canvas look strange, but now it looks a little bit more like like the colors actually are. So, but I filled in kind of this area here, finished off the bits of the house, uh, done some more work in the water, and then when I had a little leftover red, I started working on these flowers. So, yeah, Cottage Cove of kit, and I've just been using everything in the kits. Then one other one that I've been working on, this is Starry Skies. This is a counted needlepoint. Um, this is by Nancy's Needle. So with a counted needlepoint, you just start with a blank canvas. So this was blank. You pick out the threads similar to how you would with a cross stitch. You know, you get the threads that are called for and follow the pattern. So here's where I am so far. There's quite a few different threads in here. And a lot of them are variegated, so it's sometimes hard to tell if something is the same thread or not, particularly what looks like white around the edges of those tips of the star is actually a variegated that runs through shades of light blue. So it's the same color all the way around at the tips, but it just doesn't quite look like that. So I wanted to try this because I had seen a lot of people doing counted needlepoint, and it is really cool, but it is something that is time consuming and takes a lot of thought because with a counted cross stitch, you know, you're just making squares, you're just making X's in whatever color it calls for. In this, you're taking the color, but then the stitches can be different. These are, you know, you have to make sure your stitch covers the right number of squares. So it just takes a little bit more thought, but it is cool. I'm really enjoying it, but not something that I can just kind of sit and go on, like a big full coverage cross stitch where you can just kind of go and you don't really have to think too much. Other than that, I have my crochet projects that I've been working on. So the first one is the Highland cow. I know some of you are familiar with that little guy. So I finished the head and horns for the cow. I'm now working on the baby blanket part. Uh, and it's gotten pretty good size. It's just, oh, there goes my hook. It's just tedious. This waffle pattern is basically triple crochets that are going, you basically are working back post or front post triple crochets, and then you're kind of going to, two to the front and then two to the back. So it's, again, takes a little thought. Um, it's a fun pattern, but it's taking a long time to get anywhere, it feels like, just because it is a triple crochet, which takes a little more time to do. So I'm nearly done with that. I would say probably 80% of the way done with the blanket. Then I can finish making the pieces. I honestly don't know why I went to the blanket, probably just because I wanted to get the big part out of the way. So once the blanket is done, I'm going to have to finish making the legs and the tail. And that's going to take a little work. Obviously, I have to make four legs, um, and the tail, and then put it all together. So there's still a bit of work to be done on that, but I am moving along. The other one, is my Festival of Lights blanket. And I have moved on to the squares. So I decided, like, they're so teeny. I decided to do this in what everyone's calling the assembly line technique. So because these squares are actually 8 rounds, I am just learning what I need to do for, I did the first round for all 24 squares. And now I'm going back and I'm doing the next round. So these are actually really adorable. So the middle of the square, oops, that's the back side. The middle square is um, pretty simple in the dark orange. And then for the outside part, this is only rounds 4 and 5, I believe. Um, it's all through the back. So we were doing back posts, double crochets, and then what they're calling popcorns, but these popcorns are done in a really weird way. The popcorns are make 4 double crochets and then um, stitch them together, which I've always known a popcorn to be more like yarn over 8 times and then yarn through all 8 on the hook, something like that. So these are kind of weird popcorns, but they're a little bit easier to work with because of that. So I'm only on the second chunk. I'm basically going one color at a time. So however many rows are in a single color on this pattern, and then I'll move on to the next color section on the squares. So the squares are motif 2 out of 5. So I have a long way to go still. But I've got, 24 of them started, 24 squares started. I've got 4 of them through the second piece. But I'm working on this slowly. The Highland cow is really the piece that I want to get done first, since I am making that for somebody. So my plan is to get that done first for her. Then I'll take up that time with Festival of Lights. But I don't want to lose my stitching time. So yes, I could put everything else aside and just do that, but that's not what I want to do. So that's why I'm working on them that way, real slow. Um, I'll remind everyone and myself again, stitch along does not mean you have to do it at the same time. So, um, yeah, it is what it is. So for Whip Go December, I am at one point going to pull out a dimensions and work on it for 5 days. It will happen. And then I have something that only needs back stitching. I did pick up Everett's Cottage for half a day. Um, I don't like the way they did the back stitching on that one, so I need to push through, but I've just been, I don't know. I think it's because I've been way too busy. There's just so much going on right now, between work and personal, my stitching and stuff has to take a little bit of a back seat. Honestly, I've done a lot this year, so I just gotta say, you know what? Hey, it is what it is, right? So we can always make our plans, but that doesn't mean they're gonna happen. So anyways, so that's everything I've been working on. I know it's not very much. Plans, I still have plans upcoming. The first day my husband goes skiing, I will do my whip parade. Um, why am I waiting for him to go skiing? Because he'll be gone all day and I can just pull everything out and make a huge mess and show you all 50, I think 50 cross stitch rips that I have going right now. So we'll do that. I'm guessing December could be January. We'll see. January 1st, we're gonna start the HAED stitch along. So watch for that because I am ready to go. I have my fabric, I have my floss. I'm ready. So as soon as we get that pattern, I will be going on Jelly World. I am so tempted to take a day off work just so I can stitch all day. And because I haven't taken any time around the holidays. So, maybe we should all take a day off and stitch on the HAED stitch along. Hmm, it's a good idea. But I'll be showing you some I'll be showing you some progress on that soon. Um, Other than that, WIPGO 2025, I have got my board ready to go. I have made it even more vague. I know you guys love my vague board. It's so vague now. But I did that way on purpose so that I won't be such a brat when it says something like HAED. I did not do that. Closest thing I did is I did do Teresa Wensler because I do have three of those on the go. So shouldn't be a problem to pick one up and work on it. And I did put dimensions on it again because, as you know, I've got a ton of those going. And I think I put Thomas Kincaid again. So, yep, gonna do that again. Other than that, I don't think there's anything. Um, so that's a wrap. Short and sweet. But thank you all for watching. If you've watched this far, I really appreciate it. And good stitching to you. I hope you all have wonderful holidays, whatever it is that you celebrate. Have you ever had your brain vapor lock in the middle of a sentence? That just happened. So, anyways, happy holidays and have fun with all your stitching. And I can't wait to see you all soon.